Okay, everybody, we are back. We had some technical difficulties, but welcome to the Sports on I-40 podcast this evening. We are back. We haven't really had an episode lately. We've sort of been just kind of doing other things. Mac and I have, Mac, you were recently at a tournament this past weekend, and I've just been working on other things. But tonight we have a special guest. Tonight's guest is Mr. Raul Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm first of all, thank you for having me on this, and then I just want to, I'm happy to be here, and I hope everything will go as planned.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to get you on the podcast because you're a local legend. You have a special connection not only with the Holbrook community, but Chinle and Coolidge as well, and I'm sure White River as well is another place, right? So I thought it would be interesting for us to just kind of get a perspective on your career and the many things that you've accomplished throughout that time. So I guess first we could start. Where are you from?
Originally, I grew up in Southern Arizona and graduated from ASU back in '77. And I actually got started in Wind Rock. I got started in Wind Rock back in '77. I worked there, and then after a couple of years there, I was assistant, and then I became head coach in '79, '80.
Okay, so I'm very sorry, everybody. We had some technical difficulties again. But anyways, you had mentioned Winter coaching at Winter Rock for, did you say 9 years?
Yes, I was coached there as a head coach there from 79 to '88.
And then you came to Holbrook.
Then I came to Holbrook, and I was here for 5 years. And then in '93, I went to Coconino for a couple of years. Then in '95, I went to I should say high school, stayed there until '01. Then I was asked to come back to Holbrook, so I came back to Holbrook in '01. And I retired from work 2014. And after that, I was asked from, I spoke at the banquet in Winter Rock, the athletic banquet there. And then the AD asked me to go over there or if I could come over. So then I asked him if I could just coach and not work because I had retired already. So I just so I went up there and I coached for a couple of years from 2014 to 2016, and then after that I went to Chinle from 2016 to 2023.
Wow.
Then I retired from coaching officially from coaching as of 23, and then a friend of mine from Coolidge, I knew him for quite a while. He asked me to come and help him that same year I retired, but I told him I didn't want to do it at the time. So, and then he kept bugging me. So I said, okay. So I went over there the following years. So this is my second year at Coolidge. I'm just actually, I'm just helping. That's all I'm doing. Like I said, my role there is just to be there to help.
Well, that's awesome. You mentioned Winter Rock. You said from 1979 to
1988.
to 1988. How was the basketball back then? Who was in the conference during that time?
At the time, well, at the time we even had Flagstaff and Coconino was in the conference too, and then it was actually the North, I guess, part, and then we actually played. We played. Chinle was in it, Monument Valley, and Page at that time wasn't in our conference, so we just pretty much played along I-40 and with surrounding areas and all that. So pretty much it was at the time we were one of the few reservation schools that played in that league. So I believe Winslow was in there too.
Was like it wasn't called the 3A conference at the time, was it?
No, it was 2A, I think. 3A.
3A.
Yeah.
Was Flagstaff 3A back then?
Yeah, they were in our conference.
Smaller school then.
And how competitive was the state at the time for boys basketball?
Very well. To give you an example, Flagstaff had size. That's 6'9", 6'4". I think the smallest guy was 5'10", and we were still very competitive. In fact, in 1982, we won the region with Flagstaff in the conference.
1982. That was even
82,
before I was born, man.
Yeah,
The
that's
year before.
that's how long ago it was. In fact, I was talking to one of my former players that played on that team just the other day. Still stay in contact with him. That he was on the team.
Who was that? What's his name?
His name is Darwin Mitchell.
Darwin
You know
Mitchell.
him, yeah. I think he's up there in age, but he still plays now. He's the only one out of that group who still plays.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now back then, was basketball as popular as it is today, or was it more popular?
Well, to make a comparison, we had that little gym they called the Field House in Window Rock, and I think it would hold 2,000 maybe at the most. But if you wanted to get in, you had to go before the JV game started because the thing was packed. They would close the doors on everybody; they couldn't come in. And I remember one time, I think not that yet the same year, I think 82, we were playing a team from New Mexico that was ranked number 1 in the state of New Mexico, and we played them at Window Rock, and we actually had they actually closed the doors, and then somebody actually broke in to watch the game. So that's how popular it was. At the time, in those days, they didn't have satellite.
No broadcasting.
No, nothing. So I guess you could say basketball was the only thing in town. So everybody came to the game, and it was at the time. You guys probably don't remember. Peter McDonough was the chairman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would actually come to the games too. And then he would, the back door, he would bring the whole entourage with him, and they have to make room for him. So it was really, basketball at that time was really popular, very popular. I think now, if you go to Window Rock and they play in that nice big gym now, it's just not, people don't come to the game like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a topic that we've had on our show many times. And we're not really entirely sure why attendance is down, but interest is still really high. One of our theories is that, the online streaming, they stream videos, or they stream the games online now. And cellular networks have gotten so much better on the reservation. I think people are able to view these games on the internet, or some of them might have Starlink and might be able to watch it from home. I think the other deterrent for attendance is, we recently came out of COVID as well, so there seems to be perhaps a little bit of hangover from that as well. But even myself, 20 years ago, I remember it still being extremely popular, with attendance being really high for all these games, not only in Holbrook but all over the place. I know the 3A North tournament was always a highly attended game as well when they rotated. I think I only went to the one in Winslow when it rotated to Winslow, like in early 2000s. But anyways, so you mentioned actually when you were at Windrock, what was the best finish your team had in the playoffs?
Where was the what?
When you were coaching at Windrock, what
What-
was the best finish you had in the playoffs?
We, as far as playoffs,
Yeah.
we went to, as far as the Final Four.
Uh-huh.
We went to stages about every year. I think other than the first year that I was there, we didn't go to make it to state in the second year. But after that, we went to either the Final Four or the best finish was the Final Four, I believe. And then but we always made it to the quarterfinals, first round, all that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I went back in 2014, and the second year we went to the quarterfinals.
Uh-huh.
So that was the last time I was there. But before that, we made it as far as the Final Four.
Uh-huh. Wow. I was going to ask, while you were at Windrock, do you have any notable players that you remember that were really good?
Well, like I said, we had some real good talent. You know, and like I said, with that group I had in '82 that graduated, most of the group, seniors, there were a lot of the guys that three of them he went to play the next level, to play at junior college. And then after that, in the '80s, I don't know if you know Sean Martinez. He works for the Phoenix Suns now. He went on to play with Fort Lewis. Finished it. I believe he played Fort Lewis after he done at Winter Rock, and that was in the mid '80s.
So go ahead.
And so basically, we had a lot of success. And after that, in the toward the later part of the '80s, we had a kid named Clint Gleason, who was a very good athlete. He went on. He didn't. I think he would play football, but basketball. He let us got to the state tournament, to the quarterfinals for 2-3 years. As he started as a sophomore, and went on to. And he finally graduated, and after that, I think we were done. We didn't make it back to. We made it back to the state tournament, but we didn't do very well.
Mm.
What's his name? Clint Gleason, you said?
Yes.
Oh.
So when you first started coaching in '79, there wasn't the 3-pointer yet, right?
No. In fact, a lot of the guys that from the '82 team always wondered what it'd be like if the 3-point line was there, because that team was a very good. They could really shoot the ball well, but there was no 3-point line. The 3-point line did come into the mid '80s.
So how did you normally coach when there was no 3-point line? What was your strategy?
Basically our biggest strength probably was our defense, that we're able to push the ball up and score a lot of layups and get the ball inside, etc. And this we're able to score that way. But we didn't. In a way, in fact, I was just talking to my former player the other day, and he said something. Even if we're down 10, we still could win. Because we score so much, and then with the 3-point line, that's definitely a lot easier to get back in the game.
So with no 3-point line, it seems like height must have been really important back then.
Yes,
well, I guess it still is today, but
it is. But with that team I was talking about, the '82 team, our biggest guy was 6 foot. Everybody else was small, 5'10", 5'11", maybe. But like I said, we just these young men could just play basketball well.
Was the strategy like a full court press back then?
Yeah, we pressed a lot.
Yeah.
We pressed a lot, and like I said, our strength was our defense. We were able to play good defense, able to push the ball up and get easy buckets and beat everybody else. And like a lot of times, I remember when we played the bigger team would work it inside, and as soon as they score, we'd get it out and throw it down, and we score a layup. And then that was kind of discouraging for the other team, because they worked so hard to get the 2 points they wanted, and they did, and then we just throw it down, and score a label on them before they got back. So
Yeah.
I guess our quickness was another key, our strengths.
So how much did your coaching have to change when the 3-pointer became available?
It didn't. I still don't believe that you should. Most teams like to shoot the 3-pointer. I like to. I still like to go inside. I call it inside out. We go inside first. If we don't get the shot, then we'll kick it back out. If the shot is there, we'll take that 3-point line. So basically, I never really relied a lot on the 3-point shot. I still like to take the ball inside and score inside if I can, or take the high percentage shot, and then other than take the 3-point shot. Because sometimes, I think it's the 3-point shot is taken away from the sport as far as the game itself. In the NBA, I know that they shoot all they want to shoot is a 3, and they're good at it. And in high school, you're not going to have 3-pointers. You're not going to have 3-point shooters all the time. So you got to work. You got to do the other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of always been my observation of the game today in high school is nobody's really shooting the mid-range really anymore. It seems like it's a lot of outside 3-point shooting or working the ball inside, maybe working for layups. Nor is there really any type of low post type movements as well. I'm not entirely sure what that might have been caused by. Obviously, if the NBA is a big influence as far as shooting a lot of 3-pointers. But how have you noticed the game change since you coached to today?
Well, I think one of the things, as you mentioned earlier, that about how the NBA has influenced the kids now, and I think the other thing that influenced the game is that more and more the parents want to get involved, and of course they want their kids to shoot the ball, and I think that's kind of hurt the game too. That where the kids want to shoot the ball, they want to score, and again, but in a lot of cases you got to. I mean, as a parent, as a basketball person, you got to realize not everybody can score. Going back to the '82 team, we had guys that could do a lot of things well, but they didn't really focus on that. Their main concern is try to score, and they didn't really care who got the points. I guess more or less. And I think now, I think we have more kids are a little bit more selfish. I guess you could say that they want to. I think the terminology is I got to get my points. And so they look for their shots instead of looking for what taking the best shot available. So I think that's another thing that changed the game.
Mm-hmm. So you finished in Winter Rock in, did you say 88 or 89?
Or 88.
88, and then you came to Holbrook.
Came to Holbrook, yes.
In 89.
89. B.J. Little was the senior that year.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys know B.J. Little. Yeah.
He's one that he refs quite usually ref too, right?
Yeah.
So, how was Holbrook different from Winter Rock back then when you went, because you just came from Winter Rock and now you're at Holbrook now in 19?
Well, I guess the difference was that when I came to Holbrook, we couldn't do the things that we did at Winter Rock. We couldn't really full court press, so basically we went to half court. We just basically focused on, with BJ Little, we were able to get him to where he was able to average over 20 points a game, and also I didn't mention this, is that Johnny Tabaha was a sophomore that year. So with BJ Little and Johnny Tabaha, we were able to make it to the state finals that year, but we got beat in the finals against Snowflake.
Oh, wow.
And so that was, again, a year, something that was very unique because, again, BJ decided to put us on his back and take us, and then Johnny took care of the rest. And then it was really, when you think about it, and the other thing that happened when we came here, we didn't have the depth that we had at Winter Rock. At Winter Rock, we always had depth. And when we came here, we didn't have the depth. And so it was a change, but we were able to be successful with what we had here too.
Mm-hmm. So throughout the '90s, I guess, so the finals must have been your best finish. Did you only go to the finals once during that time?
No, we went actually with Johnny. We went to the finals twice with him, and then we also went to the final four when he was here. And then after that, we also went to we went to the finals another year, I think, with another group. But that was something that, again, well, we had, like I said, we had a lot of success with the kids that we had here in Holbrook.
Back then in the early '90s, was it mostly was it a mix of in town kids and reservation kids, or was it dominated by one or the other?
It was a good mixture. We had a number of kids that played off the reservation, and a lot of kids from here that played from town. So it was a mixture of everything, So it was a good mixture, I thought, So we did very well.
Mm-hmm. And Holbrook was in the East at that time.
Yes.
I guess I'm kind of interested in the East at this time. Who was the powerhouse in the East during that time?
I don't know. It's hard to say because we pretty much, when I came in '89 to '93, we did well. And like I said, Snowflake was always there. Round Valley was always there. In fact, Round Valley beat us in the finals that year when Johnny was a senior. So Round Valley was always tough. Snowflake was always good, and there was always times that Shola was also sometimes was in the mix of things too. So pretty much that's the teams that we had, in the East.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you finished in Holbrook. What year did you finish in Holbrook? Is it 2000?
No, I left Holbrook in '93.
Oh, 93. And then you went to White River?
No, I went to Coconino.
Oh, Coconino.
Mm-hmm.
You were the head coach at Coconino?
We didn't it was one of those things where we didn't have a lot of talent, and we had some great kids, but not a lot of talent. And at that time, I guess Mingus was really strong, Flack was really strong, so we didn't really do as well as we wanted to do.
That was 4A
Yes.
back then, huh?
Yes. And then Page was also strong at the time, and they were in the same conference we were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we kept us from having a lot of success there. So then, my second year after that, I got a call from White River to go over there, so I went over there.
Mm-hmm. So when you went to White River, was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coaching there?
No, he wasn't there until my last year I was there. My last year was there in '01. So at the end of '01, I came over here. So he was only there with me for one season.
Mm-hmm.
And how many seasons did you do in LHSA?
Pardon?
How many seasons did you do in LHSA?
How many what?
How many seasons?
Well, I was there a total of 6 years.
6 years, wow.
From 95 to '01.
And how did the team perform while you were coaching there?
We did really well. We went to state every year, we went to state every year, and we finished runner up one year in '99. In fact, Coolidge beat us in the finals that year.
Who were some of the good players back then from LHSA? Who was pretty good back then?
We had I don't know if you remember a young man named Armando Cromwell.
Yeah, Cromwell.
He played. I think he played for NPC one year, and he finished. I think he also played for Phoenix College because that's when Coach Z had his stroke, and so he left to Phoenix College the following year.
Oh, okay.
But Coach Z recruited him to come over
He
here.
was the NPC coach back then, right?
Yeah.
Coach Z.
Yes.
How about Gokush? Is Gokush there too then?
Yeah, Gokush was a year behind Armando, I think. Believe so. He graduated the following year.
Mm.
So your time at Altusay, how different was Altusay the culture there compared to Holbrook and Windrock?
I don't know. Kids were the same, the same way. Like again, the only thing that I think the difference was that the fans. I think we had more support in I would just say than we did in Holbrook. I mean, Holbrook we had decent support, but not the type that White River gave us.
They show up, man. You see
Well,
that, it's still like that. It's
Well,
still-
like I said, it depends. I guess like when I came with BJ, Mike Buttonholz had graduated the year before. He was a year ahead of BJ, so Mike Buttonholz played. I think he graduated in '88, and I came in '88, '89, and BJ graduated that year, '88, '89, and after that, when I came back, I guess it all depends how you do. Because when I came back later, I can't remember if you guys remember, Coach Z had a player that played here when he was coaching at MPC, and he had a nephew that came here from Indiana, and he played for Holbrook his 1 year, senior year, and this young man could play, and I remember there was a elderly lady from Shiprock who would drive all the way down here to watch him play.
Really?
And I don't know if you remember or you guys were around, but at that time I remember the gym wasn't very big. Remember how the high school gym wasn't very big, but they had. I remember this distinctly. They had three rows of people on the sideline sitting across on the floor because they wanted to watch the game, and then they also had people in the end lines, 3 rows of people. It was that's how it was. Now the fire marshal.
That was for the NPC games.
No, that was our game.
High school game.
Our game,
Wow.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the NPC games they got the sport too, but
Uh-huh.
like again, it was one of those things that I guess it depends what kind of product you put on the court that they will come and support you. But White River, it didn't matter. They were there.
They showed up anyway.
They showed up.
Uh-huh.
In fact, when we went to state tournament, whenever we went to the state tournament, the whole reservation will follow us down.
Uh-huh.
And
They
I
got
think
a fan bus and all that. Too, huh?
and I don't think anybody was in White River for the weekend.
Yeah. Who was that player you're talking about from Indiana? Who was that person?
His name Cordell Bennett.
Yeah, Cordell.
Yeah, remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you finished at White River, then you came back to Holbrook again
Yes, I came home in 01.
in 01. So wait, Mac, did you already graduate with him?
Nah, he became a coach the 01.
Oh, in 01.
When you came back the first year after Perkins, yeah.
Uh-huh. So how did you guys do that year?
I don't remember how did
We
we
lost
do.
to Coolidge.
Yeah, we lost in the
First
first round.
round.
First round, yeah, because
We were north number 4, I think.
yeah,
We finished 4th in
yeah,
in the north.
yeah. Coolidge, I remember specifically that game because most of our guys were sophomores.
Yeah.
They were really young.
This was at Flagstaff, right?
Yes.
NAU.
Yeah, NAU. Yeah.
Mhm. So you coached from 2001 to, is it 12 or 13 in Holbrook?
14.
14?
2014.
Uh-huh. So I guess take me through that time, because during that time, I guess there are 2 players that come to mind, or maybe 3. The first one being Olajuwon Pusher.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing him play, and he was from Sibique,
No, he's from White River.
White River.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I remember speaking because I think I was a freshman in high school at the time when
Yeah.
he played, and we had a guy that married a lady in Joe City, and he was helping out with the baseball team. And
Mhm.
he had just graduated from Round Valley the year before, and he was telling us that Olajuwon Pusher was the best basketball player he had ever seen, or played against, I guess, or whatever at Round Valley. That was a pretty unique year. I don't really remember. I know you guys didn't that particular year you guys lost to, was it in the second round or something like that?
I think we lost second round to Chinle, I believe. I think because Chinle went to the Final Four that year, but they got beat in the Final Four that year, I think. but I remember we did well with that group, and it was fun to watch because, like you said, Elijah was a very unique player that he was able to do a lot of things and made everybody else better on the team. You know, and I remember we would go to the camps, and I remember we went to the UNM had a team camp, so we took them over there, and then a lot of the coaches will actually come and watch us play because they liked the way they played, I guess, and they played together. They shared the ball and everything, but they could, like I said, shoot the ball extremely well. That they were very successful.
Is that with Kyle Rohn too? Same time.
Yeah,
too?
Kyle was on one of the players. Yeah, there was another kid, young man on that team. Was in fact his son is playing for Shinley now. I think he believes he's going to be he was a sophomore this year. He'll be a junior next year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who's that?
I can't think of his name. I'll come back with it later. I can't think of his name, but his son, like I say, he's got two sons that played. That one is going to be a junior this year.
Oh, Nastasio.
Yeah, Nastasio, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Brian Nastasio was
Brian
the kid's
Nastasio.
name. Yeah,
Kobe's his son.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one, Cordero Bennett.
Cordell Bennett, he could easily have played at the college Division One, but he chose not to. That he went overseas. And the last time I heard, he was still playing in Brazil.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, I seen some YouTube videos
Yeah.
of the team that he was playing for.
But he could. I mean, he was probably one of the better players more talented players I ever coached. You know, because I remember some of the things he would do. He wasn't very tall, maybe 6'1", maybe, but he could jump. And I remember particularly this play. I don't know if you guys. There's a young man named Duhan James. He wasn't a starter, but he played a lot. And I remember one time we were playing Tuba City, and we weren't playing very well. In other words, things weren't going well, and so right at the end of the game, they got the ball. Well, we got the ball at their side of the basket, and so I told Duhan, I said, I want you to run to the ball, get the ball, and Cordero's going to run by you, and you give me right back to him, and then anyway, our video was out, camera was out. So Tuba City was videoing the game, and I asked him can you give me that video? Because what happened is that when he got the ball, he was full stream, full ahead, and he dunked that ball. I mean, he was one of the most vicious dunks I've seen at the high school level, but I never saw it on video because I wanted to look it on video.
And that was at Tuba City Pavilion, the new pavilion?
No, at the time, yeah, they did. But like I said, I never got the video.
Oh, yeah.
But it was here.
It was here.
It
Oh,
was
it was here
here,
in
yeah.
town. Okay.
It was here.
Uh-huh.
How did Cordero end up playing for Holbrook?
Well, like I said, his uncle had played for Coach Z when he was playing for NPC.
Uh-huh.
And from what I understand, they were living in a area where it wasn't safe to go out. And remember that at the time there was a lot of drive-by shootings and all that. So so his parents didn't want him to go to school, so they kept him inside all the time. So when I guess when they talked to Coach Z, and Coach Z agreed to let him stay with them, so he came over here, and I was as surprised as you were as far as him coming over here. But actually, Cordero, he really adjusted this place. He liked it, and I remember one time he said, "Yeah, it's nice here. People don't carry guns. They don't carry knives, etc." Because that's how it was back home where he was at, where he was living. You know,
Like
but
Gary, Indiana, or somewhere over there.
yeah. So it was really one of those things. But he actually, like I said, he went in every weekend after the season was over. He went as far as St. Carlos, playing in tournaments. He would play in different tournaments. I guess people knew when they found out about him, they would call him and ask him, "Why don't you come play with us over here?" and different teams would take him to different tournaments. So he just went along with everything and had a good time.
And you said there was a lady from Shiprock that would drive down just to watch him play?
Mhm. Because somebody told me that, that my grandma is, I don't know if that was true or not. She said that the grandma was 80-something years old, but she still drives from Shiprock over here to watch the game, to watch him play. Because I remember after the games, I usually take him out to eat before I took him back to Coach C's house. And then at the time they had Denny's, and we go eat at Denny's after the game, and sometime the fans will be there eating too, and they would come and talk to him and all this and that.
That's cool.
Get his autograph and all that.
Yeah, I've always said, and we've talked about this on the past podcast, that I thought Cordero Bennett was probably the best basketball player to come to Holbrook.
He was definitely I mean, I've coached a lot of good, talented players, but he just knew how to play the game.
Mm-hmm. So that year, you guys made it to the quarterfinals?
Yes, we made it to the quarterfinals, but some other things that happened that I don't know. I'm not willing to talk about it, but it's something that if it wasn't for that, we would have been able to go. I think we would have been able to win the whole thing, but we didn't.
What year was that again?
That was Cordero's Bennett senior year.
What year was that? Like 2000?
2000 and
Is it 4?
No, it's later than that. It was
5?
05, 06 around there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look it up and go look at the annual, find out.
Well, I remember because they had scheduled a game with Joe City that year, and I remember Cordero Bennett jumped over one of our players and dunked the ball on him.
I don't remember that.
Why?
Yeah. His name was Trey Rogers, the person who jumped over at Joe City.
He actually cleared him. Wow, that's crazy.
Joe City has some good teams. I remember when Coach, what's his name? He's a superintendent now.
Oh, Fields, Brian Fields.
When he was coaching there, they actually had real good teams. They were actually very competitive team. And I don't know, like I said, I don't remember when we played them, but I don't remember that part you mentioned.
Yeah. And then I guess you fast forward to a little bit further. Olin Hatch. I remember watching that year when he was a senior, probably both years, junior and his senior year. Olin Hatch was I thought he was a very unique player. He had a lot of great moves down below on the post. And now he's like an engineer for Intel, I think now. Chemical engineer for Intel or something like that. I'm good friends with his dad and his younger brother, Andon. But anyways, so what was your experience with that team? That would have been like the 07 team?
Yes. We actually went to the Final Four with him too, his senior year. And for some reason we could not
beat Payson, right?
We could not beat Payson.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with the coach that's there. He's still there. I talked to him the other day. But Olin was very unique that he actually, back up a little bit, when he was a seventh grade and 8th grade, his dad would drive him to the summer games whenever we played away, when we went on travel in summer. Mm-hmm. In fact, we would go as far as Stasher, and his dad would drive him over there so he could play with the guys. And so he could actually play with the guys as a 7th grader and as an 8th grader.
Really?
And then when he came up to be a freshman, he actually started as a freshman. And as far as I think his senior year, he broke the record for the scoring title in Holbrook. I think Mike Bunhoser had the record, and he broke his record.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time, Mike Bunhoser was still coaching at Milwaukee. That when they came down to Phoenix, he actually got him tickets to go to the game for that, because he broke his record.
That's cool.
So they got to get so what the NBA or they got to watch them Milwaukee Bucks in Phoenix when
Uh-huh.
it came down.
Yeah, that Payson team, they had like a was he like 6'9" or something, or 6'10"?
They had some size, and again, it was one of those things where, you know, as a coach, you get ready for it, and you don't, but then sometimes the kids don't do what they're supposed to do, because I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but there was another young man that played for us that year that was very talented. Jason Berlin.
Jason Berlin. Yeah.
Berlin. Uh, he he has a record for the most assists in the game or for the season, and he was on the same team with Olin that we went to made it to the Final Four, and what Payson did, they double teamed him, so he couldn't get the ball, and our other guard panicked a little bit because he got the ball and he threw it into the stands or some pass it to the stand. I don't know who he was throwing it to, but he was in the stands. And then so we wound up, because we were up 7 with about 2 minutes left in the game. And that's when Payson double teamed Jason, wouldn't allow him to catch the ball. And without him handling the ball, we wound up losing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Payson was a good team. But I was looking the next game, and I thought we had a chance to win it that year too, but we couldn't get past Payson.
Mm-hmm. Was that the year that you guys played Estrella Foothills?
No, I think it was the year before that.
Year before that.
Yeah, the year before that, because we beat them in 2 overtimes in the, I think, quarterfinals.
Uh-huh.
In fact, when Estrella came in, they were undefeated. They were 33-0, and we won our first game there in Flag, and then we played them the next game. And then another kid that we had on that team was that, I don't know if you guys remember, Jarrell Dixon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a very good player. And there were some other guys that we had on the team, and Olin was one of them. And then we wound up beating Estrella Foothills in 2 overtimes. In fact, I still have the video somewhere. And I don't know if you guys know that Jason passed away,
Yeah.
and his mom requested that she wanted that tape.
That's it. Really.
Yeah, so I don't know how we found it. In fact, Victor Paz, he said that he found the CD in the office, and so we duplicated and then gave the CD to the mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that year, Corey Hawkins, I think he was a junior that year, or a sophomore that year,
Corey was a freshman.
or freshman.
Yes.
Okay,
His brother was a senior.
because there was
So they
2
had
of them,
2
right?
brothers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
same team.
Because I remember Corey Hawkins, Australia Foothills played Chinley, I think, in the 08-09 state
Yeah.
championship.
I believe they won the state championship the next 3 years
Mhm.
after we beat them in the quarterfinals these freshman year.
Mm-hmm. So, how many times prior to the state championship win in, was it 2011? How many times have you did you go to the finals?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, twice with Holbrook, and once with the LCC.
So, prior to winning in 2011, did it always just seem that the state championship seemed to elude you?
Well, it depends, like, how you look at it. Like, when we went to the first year, when I was at Holbrook, with Holbrook, the first year when I was there, we just couldn't really match up with the team Snowflake that beat us. We like I said, we didn't have much size, and other than BJ, but BJ couldn't do it by himself, and so basically it was one of those things where they just had a better team. They beat us, and then Johnny's senior year, we played Round Valley, and we had beaten Round Valley. I think we split with them during the regular season, and then they happened to play. They had a good team as well that year, and they happened to play better than we did in the finals, and they beat us again. So it was one of those things. And then I'll just say, like I said, there it was very I still remember everything happened. We were down. It was a tie ball game, and then we were shooting a 1-and-1, and we missed the 1-and-1. In those days, if you made the first one, you get to shoot the second
That was
one.
a bonus back
Yeah,
then.
bonus. So what happened is that he missed the 1-and-1, and then but one of our guys got it, shot it, missed it, and when the other guy got it, shot it, and missed it. So we missed the 1-and-1, and we missed 2 layups, and then we wound up losing the game. And so it was one of those things again. That was a game that I guess I always look back and say, well, what else could have done, because they had one of those things where, as a coach, you always go back and try to analyze it and see this is what I should have done, this should have done.
Yeah.
But sometimes things just happen. But again, if we just made a free throw, it would have been fine. If we would have missed our layup, it would have been fine. So, that you can't control. So that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. So the 2011 team, I guess, how did that all come together? Because I'm assuming most of them, only a small portion of them were seniors that year, right? That were part of that team.
That group of young men, they stayed together all through summer, through everything that we went through. They stayed together, and it was just something about that group that they were determined to win no matter what. I remember one of the guys that was on the team was Elation Johnson, and he wasn't a scorer, he wasn't, but he was so determined that he wasn't going to allow anybody else to beat us, And I remember the Fountain Hills, they had some size. They had 6'9", 6'6", and their guard was 6'4" maybe. And so there was a lot of things but again, as a group, our guys never believed they could get beat, and they went and pulled it out. And again, there was a lot of guys again, it was a team effort, and they were able to get the job done when it mattered the most.
Mm-hmm. This is a weird question. So I remember seeing the post-game interview that you did after the state championship. Did they tell you to take your glasses off?
No, I don't remember.
Because during the game you had your glasses on, and then you did the post-game interview, and you took your glasses off. So I always wondered if they asked you to take them off.
I might have lost them. I don't know. No, I don't know. I probably just put them in my pocket. So at the time, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that team was, like I said, we had actually, with that group, Jalen Jackson was still a junior that year we won it. And there was another guy by the name, I don't know if you guys remember him. I can't think of his name now.
Torian,
yeah.
Torian
Phipps, yeah. And those guys, Torian went out and played at the next level too. Jalen didn't decide not to. He became a family man, so he didn't go on. And then the rest of the guys didn't ever. But overall, they're just the guys that they didn't want to quit. They were determined to win it, and they won it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great season for Holbrook. I think I went to a bunch of games to watch that year, but for some reason, the only one I really remember is just the last game they played before the state championship.
Yeah.
Well, in that year, we didn't really we weren't really count on to win it, because Winslow, I remember they were the other team that everybody expected to do well, and they have one of the Shirley boys, that was playing, and so basically, like I said, we went in mostly as an underdog, and I remember trying to get the guys to realize, this, you have to go and play and do what you got to do, and because nobody really expects you to win, and we're talking about how, everybody's talking about how Winslow's going to be able to win it this year, and et cetera, and all that, and then it so happened that we played them in the semis, and then we beat them, and then we had wound up playing Fountain Hills.
Did you guys win the conference that year too?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
Hmm.
We might. I don't remember. Those things I don't remember. I don't.
Was there a
Yeah.
tournament back then, or was it just like you just based on record that you won the conference?
Usually, like I said, I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I think it was just
Because,
based
like I
on
said,
record.
Some of the other times, and people always ask me this question: do you remember this? And say, no, I don't remember. Because my biggest concern in situation like that, even at when I was at Shin Lee, is to make it to the state finals.
Mhm.
And our how the reservation has the regional tournament and all that, and then we won most of the tournaments during the regional tournaments, and our guys will get so excited, and all this and that,
Mhm.
and I used to think, this is not what we
Yeah,
want. We
this
want the
is-
one next game, next tournament, and
It's not
then
finished.
so basically that's why I said that as far as the conference, and I could go back and look, but I don't. Whether we won or not that year. All I remember is that we were going into the tournament, state tournament, not expected to do well.
Mhm.
Mhm. So the following year, the 11-12 season, you guys made it to the semifinals.
Yes, we made it to the semifinal, Final Four again, and this is something again that we, as coaches, always think about and look back, because we had played Thatcher in the tournament in December and beat them. And I think our guys, I remember overhearing them saying that they weren't worried, they weren't concerned, they weren't worried about Thatcher that year because we had beaten them before. And so when we played them, we didn't really play very well, but we were still ahead. But what happened is that gave Thatcher a lot of confidence that they stuck around, and then wound up beating us in overtime. So it's kind of like one of those things where sometimes you can't look past your opponent, and then remember again that this is a different game. It's not the same game you played prior, And then early in the year, it doesn't really matter. Like this year, we at Coolidge we played we beat Snowflake earlier in the year in December, and so we knew they were going to be better when we played them again, and then that's something again that we had to really guard against, trying to get the guys to understand that we beat them earlier, but doesn't mean that we're gonna beat them again. We got to do what we have to do, and that's what happened. So I think we beat them this year in a semis, quarter, semis.
Mhm. So after Holbrook, you went to Chinley, right?
Yes, after Window Rock.
You went to Window Rock briefly.
I went to Window Rock right after I retired here in 2014. So I was at Window Rock for a couple of years before I went to Chinley.
Did you coach Burke Williams?
Name again?
Burke Williams.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think he graduated in.
Yeah, I might have.
I can't remember. Maybe earlier than that. No, I think maybe he graduated in 16. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh. He's my nephew, but he went to Window
Okay.
Rock. He played for Window Rock too.
Yeah, it might have been the year before that.
So how was coming back to Window Rock that year?
It was different. It wasn't the fan support wasn't there. Of course, we were in the big gym, but it wasn't the. When I was there in the early '80s, late '80s, early '70s, it was crazy. People were gun ho about basketball. But when I went back in 2014, it was more like laid back, and people didn't really, come in forces like they did in the past. And of course, we got the big gym. They had the big gym then, and we didn't really attract a lot of people. And then even when we went to the state tournament with quarterfinals, I don't think we had that much support. I think there was more people from the valley that actually came to the games that played in the past that were living in the valley. So they went to support us when we went to the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Who were some of the notable players back or at Winter Rock then?
That year,
Yeah, that year.
there was a guy by the name of Shema. Let me come back with the name, but there was another guy by the name of Brown. In fact, his little brother's on playing for Winter Rock now. He's going to be a senior, and he was about maybe 6'2", and he would help us a lot. And there was the other kid I was talking about. It was a guard, very talented guard that helped us, and like I said, we were able to go, and I think I don't even know if we won the conference like you said earlier, but I know we went past and we went on and made all to the quarterfinals.
Is that Jalen Brown's older brother?
Yes.
Jalen Brown's.
Yes.
Okay. So then you finished at Winter Rock and you went to Chin-Lee. Now, I have a question. How did the Netflix show come about?
Okay, it actually started in Winter Rock.
Or started in Winter Rock? Okay.
What happened is that the second year I was at Winter Rock, I don't remember if they had the Super Bowl here in the Valley, in Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
So a writer from the New York Times came down to cover the Super Bowl. Of course, you have 2 weeks in Super Bowl weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what happened that his wife was a midwife that worked for the hospital in Fort Defiance. And apparently they were there for 6 months. That's what he told me. So while he was in Phoenix, he said there was nothing going on. So I figured, well, I'm going to go back to Fort Defiance just to see, where, just to check it out, I guess what he said. So he came back to that weekend. He came back to Fort Defiance just to reminisce while he was staying there for 6 months. And then I just happened to be at the office, and we ran into each other, and we just started talking. And then one of the things he said that the next year he wanted to write a book. He would follow the team and write a book based on the season, I guess you could say. So, but then the next year I wasn't at Winter Rock anymore. So basically, I thought, well, I guess that's not going to be done.
Happen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what happened? But while he was at Winter Rock, while he was there, he wrote some articles. And one of the games that he wrote an article was when we played Chin-Lee, and there was Chin-Lee and Winter Rock are big rivals. So basically, what he did, he wrote some nice article. I think he wrote a couple of articles, and that in the New York Times, I guess. And then what happened is that the people from Philadelphia, it's called I don't remember the name of the organization, but the person they saw the article, and they read the article, and they thought, hey, this would be a good thing to video or do a video on it, documentary. So they came down and asked the school if they could do it, and they approved it, I guess. And so I believe it was the second year I was at Chin-Lee when they came and did the documentary. So it started with the articles from Michael Pa, who's a writer for the New York Times, and then but also Michael Pa also came that same year and did the book on Chin-Lee.
Oh, there's a book too.
Yeah, he did the book. It's called Canyon Echoes.
Uh-huh.
Canyon Echoes?
Yeah, so if you can get it on Amazon.
Hmm.
So
Oh, I didn't know there was a book.
yeah, there's
I
a
didn't
book.
know that
Yeah,
either.
yeah. To be honest with you, I haven't read it. I know it. I have a copy of it, but
Your name's mentioned in there so many times.
I don't, like I said, I just haven't. It's one of those things I just don't. During the season, I'm so busy, I just don't have time to read. So, but I did. In fact, Michael Pa autographed it and gave me the book, and I have it in the house somewhere. I have to look it up and
Does he
find it.
still write for the Times right now?
He still writes for the New York Times now.
Hmm.
I just talked to him just recently.
Really?
Mhm. So how did the I guess behind the scenes, how did did they film like just every practice, or was it
Every day,
every day?
every day they were there the whole year. They were the whole season, and so they were there every day, and they actually did a. I don't know if you've seen it, but they actually did an excellent job.
Yeah.
In fact, okay, after they did the documentary, they sold it to Netflix, and then but the documentary itself won an award to beat out the Last Dance, beat out the Armstrong, the biker. They had it here in
Lance
documentary,
Armstrong?
yeah, and some other. But anyway, they won an award.
Wow.
So actually, they did an excellent job on, and like I said, I never looked at it. I seen parts of it, and then I think last year I finally saw it.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
You watched the show?
I watched the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And so, and I was like, man, they did a good job.
I like the part where they went to the kids' house and
Yeah,
they kind of
yeah.
show them their daily life, because a lot of that part's not explained in a lot
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
where kids come from and all that. You know,
Yeah.
because that's what I lived through when I going to school and playing basketball.
Yeah,
Like
and
hauling water and all that. you
Yeah.
know, like some of the boys were doing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the res, man.
Well, the thing about it is that too is that everybody that's seen the video, they every time they see me, they always ask me about those guys. Like they act like they know. Say, how's so and so doing? How's he doing?
Where's
I say,
Cooper
well,
Burbank?
he's doing this, and I said, and I guess I know that first time it came out, I don't know, so many million people watched it, and the other thing, what happened is that overseas, like some we got emails and from the eastern countries, but that they wanted to come to Chinle and play basketball.
Are
Uh-huh.
you serious?
But we
Actually,
could-
really?
Yeah, but we
Dang.
couldn't. There was no way we could make it possible, and some of the, and they actually said that some of those kids were actually D1 players.
Wow.
Mm.
Could have played at Chinle, but they didn't make it because there's no place to stay.
Mhm.
So it was really created quite and we even had people from out of the country come just to see the den, the gym.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That there's time that somebody would show up and say, okay, I'm here to look at the gym. Okay.
Showing them around.
Open the door and
Show them around, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was something else. Like, and then we had a lot of, how would you say? I think a lot of the little kids really like it. Like
Yeah, they
the
were
video.
inspired then.
Yeah, because I always run into parents. They always say they watch it every day. They watch the video every
Yeah.
day, and they come home from school. They'll watch it, and then they'll watch it again the next day. So I
Mhm.
guess apparently they recorded it.
Mhm.
So that's how it came about.
I remember watching it with my kids and telling them, "That's my coach from high school over there. That's what dude." Then we would see you at Safeway, and I tell them like, "He's the one that was in the show." They're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. Okay.
It was something else, and I think there was a lot of things that it gave the community a lot of exposures too.
Mhm.
People. I don't know if you ever guys knew or know about Mo.
Yeah, the guy with the pink hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's all,
Oh, yeah, okay.
he was. They did a little piece on him too. So it was pretty neat. I thought. And then the community. They really did a lot of things that it was positive for the community, and it was, like I said, they did an excellent job with the
Mhm.
documentary.
Yeah. I think I've only seen like half of it. I never
Yeah.
I never finished the whole series for that. So I'll have to go back and finish the other half for
Oh.
that.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't see it until last year. Actually, saw the whole thing, and then just like I said, it was well done, and the kids were really, I guess you could say, everybody that was featured in the documentary, most of them are Cooper Burbank is going to be finishing at NAU probably this fall or this spring, or even the fall. I don't know yet. He told me he's going to let me know. And some of the other kids that were in the video also went on to do well. In the
Chance is a
career.
chance, right?
Yes. So it's. I always call back to one of my former assistants and check on them and see who's doing what,
Yeah.
So basically, like I said, he did a lot of good things for the community.
Yeah, I seen Cooper Burbank over the weekend, and he has a team. He has
Yeah.
a girls team, and he does jerseys now, and they make jerseys and all that. And yeah, he's doing good. He's always at all these
Yeah.
games and supporting the kids and all that. So, yep.
The thing I'm happy about it, he's about ready to finish his degree, get his degree,
Yeah.
which is good.
So one thing that comes to mind is you always had a summer team. I know my brother played on your summer team when he was like in junior high back then. I guess when it came to your program, like what exactly were you looking for in students or athletes? I mean, young athletes.
The summer thing is basically allows the kids to be able to play and more than anything else, I think a lot of what it does is it brings the kids together. It gets them to get to know each other, because one of the things I think on a team, they need to learn to trust one another, and by playing in the summer, they learn to know each other, and so when they know each other, they begin to trust one another, and then that helps a lot during the course of the season. Plus, also gives them a chance to be able to experience playing with one another, and then also in a lot of cases when we go to team camps, and I know in the past the red schools were always, I guess you could say, intimidated by teams off the reservation, because of the lack of size and things like that. So I took them took them to camps to get them off the reservation, to get them to see that they could be able to play against anybody. I remember when I was at Window Rock, we played a team that was nationally ranked in the top 10 in the state, in the nation. I mean, and that we played them, and they beat us in 2 overtimes, and we had guys who just, from the rest, and we didn't have any size, but I think that allowed them to see that they could be able to compete against anybody, and we're the national ranked team. They had guys 6'9", guards were 6'5", 6'4", but we were able to play with them, and that I think that that team, the kids come to understand, to realize, what, we can play with anybody. That's one of the reasons why we did all that.
I noticed that it seemed like nowadays schools now, one of my uncles, his name was Julius, he used to coach Ganado, and they used to talk about like a lot of the camps they did. They would go to U of A and a lot of places like that for camps. It seems like nowadays schools don't really do that no more. They only do it like, I think Holbrook only does like a Mesa State or something like that.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that part's kind of missing now.
Yeah, some of the, like I said, U of A used to have an excellent team camp. We would go down there for a week. We start on Monday and then finish it on Friday, and then also what he did, he drew a lot of teams from different states. So we have teams from California, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and all that. And so we were able to see a variety of teams, and that it was a unique experience for as far as the kids are concerned, and it was well done, and we enjoyed it, and they enjoyed it. And now they still have camps, but they only have it for maybe 1 day, 2 days, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then mostly individual things, So they don't have the team camps anymore. Other than I know Mesa State still has a team camp. I don't know how many days they go now, though.
Yeah, I think it's a week.
Yeah. But that was the reason why we did a lot of summer stuff.
Uh huh. What's your thoughts on the Copper tournament?
I think it's great, but I know the first 2 years there were actually teams, and I'm not saying accusing, but a lot of the teams actually didn't want to play in that open, even though they were selected, and so they, I guess you could say, they wanted to go to the regular 3A, so which they did, In our case, in the past 2 years at being Coolidge, we actually went the first year I was there. We went and played the number one team in the Open, which was Valley Christian, and we didn't make it past them. And then last year we went and won the first game, which was against Payson, and then we played the team that won it. That was Santan Charter, and we actually played. I thought we competed, and I think we lost by 11 at their place. So that was my experience with the Open. But again, people were talking about it, how they might do away with it because teams sometimes don't put their best foot forward, and in the knowing that they have a better chance to win the 3A than win the Open. Like this year, I think the girls. The number one and number two team met in the Open, and that was Tuba City and
Snowflake.
And from what I understand, it was a great game. I didn't get to see it because we played right before them, and then when I came out, their games already started, so I just went home, and then the regular 3A, after we got beat in the second game, they put us back in the regular 3A tournament, and then we wound up losing the championship against Palo Verde Magnum. And the girls, I believe it was Paige and Windorock. So, Paige beat Windorock in the finals. So I guess you could say, I think it's good, but at the same time, there's some drawbacks behind it that it's not. It's not fair to the fans, But I think a lot of the other teams that actually took on the challenge, like Santan Charter, I think it was a 2A school, but they were actually won it, won the whole thing. In fact, they beat Valley Christian in the finals, and Valley Christian were a very good team, but apparently they didn't play very well in that game. And like I said, the Santan Charter was a very good team.
I guess I have a few more questions. What did you get your degree in?
Education.
Education?
Yes.
So, I guess in your professional career, were you a teacher or?
Yes, I taught. I taught weights and PE for a while. Then I was counselor for the other half. I think I went 18 years as a counselor, and then the other 17 years I was a classroom teacher.
How would you say your whole experience has been in the education field?
I mean, I loved it because of the fact that you get to deal with kids. You're working with kids all the time, and I remember when I came back to Holbrook in '01, some of the locals pulled me aside and said, "You're crazy. Why are you coming back to Holbrook? There's nothing in Holbrook." I said, "Well, to me, it's the kids, So whether it was always about the kids wherever I went, and kids are kids wherever we go, So I really enjoyed it, and it was something that I always told the kids that I counseled with that for me it was doing something I enjoyed. I look forward to going to work every day. It wasn't a job. I don't know if people have jobs that sometimes they don't always like to go work, but they have no choice. They got to go to work. They got to make the money. They got to, I guess, have something to do. And for me, it was something I look forward to every day and enjoyed doing, and that I never thought, I guess you could say, I look back and I never thought that I actually had to go to work or have a job, whatever you call it. But to me, it was just something that I did, something I enjoyed doing and never complained. And when I retired, the reason I retired is because I was old enough to retire, I guess you could say. Because a lot of my students would say, well, don't retire. What do you want to retire? I said, well, I'm old enough to retire. I might as well take advantage, and did, which I did. But then I continued to coach after that, too. So I think I continued to go another 10 years. So basically, and then now I'm just helping. That's all I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
So it's just something, again, that when I look back, it's just something that I always enjoyed doing. So basically, I just something that I wish everybody could do. Do something that you enjoy and do it for a living.
Mm-hmm. Max, do you have any other questions?
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
Originally,
Yeah, I know you're from like Southern Arizona. You told us like
Well,
way back.
again, I was born in Sonora, the state of Sonora, across the border. Because I don't know if you understand that when they sold the land and then they put the border in,
Mm-hmm.
some of our tribe was on the other side.
What tribe is that?
That's the T.O.
Satio.
Yeah. So basically, even now they talk about how they want to put the wall,
Uh-huh.
but the tribe doesn't want it because they have relatives on the other side too.
Uh-huh.
So if they put the wall, they will divide
The tribe.
the tribe, the T.O. tribe in nation, the nation. They call themselves the nation too, like you guys. So that's what that was. So I was born over there and raised there until I was 13 years old, and then but we used to come because there's no jobs over there. So basically we used to come out here in southern Arizona and Casa Grande, Eloy, Coolidge area to work on the farms. So that's how I grew up in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So my 8th grade year, I told my mom, I said, you know what, I want to stay in school so I can graduate from junior high, so I can go to high school.
Uh-huh.
Because to me, the work that if I hadn't gone to school, I know what kind of work I would have been doing. That's the work on the farms. In Phoenix, Southern Arizona, it's too hot.
Yeah.
And I, in fact, I did that when I was a kid. We would work from 6 to 6 every day,
Wow.
except on Sundays.
Even as a kid,
Yeah, as a kid,
you worked.
and even I don't know if I makes it me older. That at that time they used to pick cotton by hand. So did this,
Yeah.
and I did that. I did all the farm work you can think of, and so I didn't want to do that. I said, I told mom. Well, I didn't tell my mom that. I just told my mom, I want to go to school and stay in school, and so I graduated from junior high. My last year as the 8th grade, I went to school for a whole year, because before that I used to go to school for 3 months, a year, and then go back home, and then there we had no school, so we didn't go to school. So after my 8th grade year, I went to high school at Santa Cruz Valley Union High School, which is in Eloy, and graduated in '67. Then went to college for 2 years, and then I dropped out for a while. Went to work. Well, actually got married and had to go to work. So and then I went back. My wife and I both went back to school in '75, and I graduated in '77. She graduated a year later, and then we went from there.
Did you play basketball in high school too and all that?
Yeah. High school football.
When did you start playing basketball?
Organized not until I got to the 7th grade,
Oh yeah.
and then they didn't have what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have there was no club teams or nothing like that.
Were there a lot of natives playing back then too? No.
Well, in junior high there was some, but when I went to high school, there was just me and maybe another person, two of us, the whole school. So basically, I wasn't around a lot of natives until I went to Winter Rock. So that's the story.
Wow.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on to the podcast this evening. I know it's kind of late.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I want to thank you for having me here. And I hope,
Yeah.
and like I said, it's just something that, I don't know that I tried to tell you. I try to share the journey I took since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's been.
Yep.
As an educator, do you have any advice for any of the young people today?
I would. The biggest thing I think, biggest best that I give is that I know that it's hard to. Most kids, you ask, "What do you want to do?" and they'll say, "I don't know." With me, I knew what I wanted to do from the time I was probably, I would say, maybe 13, 14 years old. And then, so in order to do what I had to do, I had to go to college. I had to get a degree, and I did. And so basically, that's something that the best way to get, I would say, if we want something, you got to go. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to go after it. Go whatever you need in order to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
But the thing about the people don't understand that, that with an education or the degree, you can get a lot of opportunities. Whereas without it, you can't. There's no opportunities. So that's something that most young people don't understand and realize that. And again, there's no. With now the way things are, so there's nothing that they can't have or whatever. There's no other way that you can put it, that with an education, you can have open all kinds of doors of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
Well-
I could keep asking questions, Mendoza, but we'll save for another time.
Okay,
I can
Yeah.
go on, man.
we'll be here until midnight, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, well, thank you for coming on, and
Oh,
we really appreciate it. It was a great conversation, and
Enjoyed it.
myself and even our viewers, they like to hear about the past as well too. It brings up a lot of memories for people who listen and remember some of the things you spoke about as well.
I want a list of your top 5 players of all time or something one of these days. People you coach, and like Sam, Sam David, and
Yeah.
some of the guys that O.J. Williams, right? You coach O.J. Williams too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kind.
He's
There's a lot of
quite-
names.
He's a very unique player. We're not on. We're not on.
Oh, we still are.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So
He
O.J.
was-
story.
I love that kid.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and hopefully enjoy the podcast. And we will see you until next time. Thank you very much.